Hey guys, welcome back to Hybrid TCG. Today we're going to be talking about blue-purple Kaido and the various cards that you can choose to be running to make the deck strong. Let's dive right into it. So one of the coolest things about this new Kaido leader is that there are a lot of different ways you can play it to make it effective. Personally, I have a very specific branch of play that I have found most successful in all of my testing. Let's throw the leader up and take a look at what he does. So this Kaido is a 5,000 power striker. It has 4 life as the other multicolor leaders do. It is blue and purple. It has the typing 4 Emperors and Animal Kingdom Pirates. Its ability is Dawn ×1, meaning it has 1 Dawn attached. During your turn, once per turn, when one of your opponent's characters is KO'd, you may add 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. This also applies in battle, so if you attach 1 Dawn to this leader and swing at your opponent's card, and it dies from that battle, you will ramp 1 Dawn. If you attach 1 Dawn to this leader and then you play Who's Who and Dawn -1 away, you will get the Dawn you used back in active mode. So it has a lot of different versatility and uses. So now that we know what this leader does, let's talk about a few of the cards that you don't have to run before we talk about the cards that I like to run. It's crazy to me that we are even discussing a deck that can run Onigashima that I suggest you don't. Since the beginning of the game, Onigashima has been touted as one of the best cards we have available to us, and in mono purple that is still true. But in a deck that also has access to blue and has ramp built into the leader, ramp being a way to add additional Dawn to your Dawn area from effects, I would not run this card. I have seen people run this card and make it work. I even tested it at 4 in my initial list, but I have since decided I didn't want it. This card feels really good when you are using your 9 and 10 drop Kaidos, as it helps you recover from those cards more quickly. But other than that, you don't need the additional ramp, and this card will often clunk up and be dead in your hand. A large part of the advantage of going blue-purple over mono-blue or mono-purple is the ability to build a deck that doesn't see dead cards anywhere near as frequently. Especially in mono purple, you are often flooded with unusable cards in your hand. Because Oni is unnecessary to this deck, I would rather not have more potentially dead cards than we must run. The same logic applies to all of the other ramp pieces we have seen. Since we do not need the ramp in this deck, we can avoid running all of these mediocre cards that are otherwise necessary in mono purple. Another big thing about Onigashima is that in mono purple, one of the things that makes it work is that you hard mulligan for it. If you do not see it in your opening hand, that is almost always a mulligan in hopes of finding it. In this deck, however, we have other cards we would rather be mulliganing for. Now, I have seen lists that run Onigashima, even helped build them in the past, that can be very successful. They focus heavily on the purple engine, and you get a much more control type of feel to it. The way I like to play blue-purple Kaido is to focus more heavily on the blue tempo engine and use purple to shore up blue's various weaknesses. This is how I have been the most successful. Because of this, there is a specific card I would like to mulligan for instead of Onigashima, and that is Sentomaru. Sentomaru is a 3-drop 4K with a counter stat, so it is very uncurved, but honestly that's not even why you're running it. You're running it for its effect. While it has 1 Dawn attached, you can activate main once per turn, pay 2, to play a cost 4 or lower Pacifista from your deck and then shuffle your deck. The only Pacifista we have access to at the moment is a 4-drop 6K beater. Now this may not seem like a lot, but because it's playing it from deck, you're losing no resources out of hand when you use this combo, and the longer that Sentomaru lives, the more tempo you're getting. You're just playing beaters that your opponent has to then struggle to get over. You can see from these few stream clips I'm going to show you that Sentomaru living through even a single term gives me so much more advantage over my opponent. Here I am into a blue-purple Kaido. I play it on turn 3 so that I have access to it immediately. They don't blow it up right away, which is awesome. So I end up being able to play 2 Pacifistas out of my deck before they can even answer it. That's 2 6K bodies that they need to deal with now, and they still have yet to answer the Sentomaru. Here we are into Red-Green Law. Because it's a safer match for the Sentomaru to not get removed, I end up playing the Sentomaru on turn 2, using its effect on turn 3, pulling out a Pacifista from my deck, immediately putting me on edge. I'm in the lead here. I've got more power, more body on board, and it just follows up. My opponent puts some pressure down, but on the following turn, I end up putting a lot of pressure back, and I still have this Sentomaru that I then get to use an additional time getting 2 Pacifistas out of my deck. Now, because I swung with it, it ends up dying to a killer later on in this fight, but that's okay because I got a lot of value out of swinging with it. It's just that this card alone brings so much value to your deck. Blue gives us access to a lot of early game stuff that we don't have access to in purple, such as the cheap blockers. Now, we do have some in purple, but they cannot compete with Trafficker Law and Boa Hancock, both of which are incredibly powerful and help you survive to get to that late game that you're trying to make it to. Once you've used these various blue pieces to set up a lead early, you can use the powerhouse late game purple pieces to help you close out games and establish your dominance, such as 9 and 10 drop Kaidos. These cards are both very effective in this deck, albeit against different matches. The 10 drop Kaido is good into things such as Mirror or maybe green decks, where your opponent is building a lot of board and going slowly. The 9 drop Kaido is more universally good and couples well with your leader, although is especially good against decks that want to go fast, such as Red-Green Law or Rush Zoro. Basically, the way that I've been playing this deck is I use the blue engine's early tempo to get me to the purple's powerhouse late. They shore up each other's weaknesses very well. The fact that blue ends up playing the early game extremely well and then hits a brick wall where it runs out of resources, whereas purple has a very weak early game and then builds into one of the strongest late games there is, means that the colors are a perfect complement, and I want to utilize this complement to its best of its ability, which is why I focus so heavily on the blue tempo into the purple late. I really feel like this currently is the most optimal way to play this deck. Here, I'll throw my list up on the screen so you guys can take a look at exactly the card count that I have been working with. As you can see, my list leans a little more towards the blue side, but is a pretty healthy mix between blue and purple. I've had great success with this list. I've changed it up a lot as I continue to test, but it's definitely a good starting point if you're interested in getting into Hybrid Kaido. I'll leave it up for a moment, but feel free to pause the video if you'd like to copy down the list. Today's video was sponsored by Topdeck TCG. This is an awesome website where not only can you buy singles for some of your favorite trading card games, but it acts as a hub for various content creators so you can stay up to date in those games. This is their homepage. As you can see, they currently carry Flesh and Blood, Digimon, Transformers, and Star Wars Destiny. They are going to be carrying One Piece in the winter when its official American release comes out. If you go over to game videos and podcasts, you can see some of your favorite content creators, including your favorite One Piece content creators, for all of these various games so that you can stay up to date on what is good right now. It's all very easy to use, and the guy is great. And if you use your promo code TheMoonmen, not case sensitive at all, you'll get 10% off any order you place. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. I certainly hope you did. You can find links to my Twitch and my Patreon in the description, as well as the promo code and the links to Topdeck TCG. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.